How to do, how to do. Back to the do. Back to the doing. Just get a little water in my wet palette here. Trying to get enough in there that it's. Plus, I don't want my. I'd be careful about how I put it in there so the paint that's already on the palette doesn't run into the edges. Last thing I want is get paint on the pad because it starts getting all blech. Blache, blache, blache. My eyes are wigging out because I was on my phone and my eyes get wonky. Takes a minute to refocus. I gotta stop spending so much time on my phone. They kind of get sore or tired. Just like, why do I do that to myself? So, okay, so have you ever used the white ink? I mean, white, okay, white on itself already has trouble. You know, it's a game color ink, and I don't know what this is going to do, to be honest. Because it's like, it's white, right? And white already has trouble being opaque enough. And now this is an ink, which is like taking that to the next step. It's like, okay, well, let's take something that already can't cover things and make it even less. I think it's good like for airbrushing, but I don't know how good it'll be for the painting in general. I'm opening it up so I can paint the lid. I mean, I'm curious what a white ink actually does in comparison to like, you know, just a regular white. But one problem I've always had with the Vallejo paints, as they're white, I never liked their white because it's always really clunky. I mean, like literally, it was just thick and it always dried up. It was really hard to get the right consistency. I mean, I thin it out, paint thinner, mediums, just whatever to try to make it more viscous, because it's really not. it was always a pain in the butt, and I was like, I had to start buying other paints. Like I ended up buying Warhammers. This is not Warhammer, the Army Painters white, and I think I even have. Okay, so there's not an actual white. There's white scar with war paint, Warhammer, I think. I'm wearing my sweater again because I was cold. Because I come down here and it's cold, and then I turn on. And then, have you ever used the? There's a speed paint white, which isn't purely white. It's called Holy White. It's actually a gray. I mean, it gives kind of a white effect, but it's mostly just it's a gray. I do like it. I like the gray color looks. It does have kind of a white-ish, but if you want something to be truly white using Holy White, you're going to have to do some highlights. You do some highlights where you need it, and it'll look better. It's basically kind of like good underlayment for white, because it'll give you some shadows, the grays, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, this white, obviously the speed paints are a lot thinner. I don't know if I've ever really tried this matte white. That's Army Painters. I put primer on a bunch of the lids, so I've been going around trying to add a few. Green, silver, blue. I know I'm going to get to painting here in a minute. I'm not going to be here too long either. I typically don't paint that late. It's just because I have to get up early to work out and do my day. I don't work tomorrow. I do have tomorrow off. I purposely took it off because, you know, it's the 4th. I didn't actually go watch fireworks, but I do tend to stay up late. I usually do. I will usually go watch fireworks, but my wife didn't want to go tonight, and I don't know. I could have went with my kids, I guess, by myself, just us. And I ultimately changed my mind and decided not to go. So here I am, just working on my devil. He's got a lot of work ahead of him. He's getting better. He's starting to look pretty sharp, I guess. But got to do, I still got to do these things on both arms. I got to do his pole. Got to do his skull and his belt. Probably do the ground. I probably have to. What I'll probably do. I don't usually leave. You'll notice that even though I put him on this base, because I like the nice round base and it fits better on the thing he just stands better, is more stable. But I'll probably end up putting some goop or clay or something down here to fill in the base so that it's one big solid piece. And then I'll do some stuff with it, put in some bushes or something. I don't know what I'm gonna put in there yet. Maybe I'll put in some rocks. I do have these little rocks that I could put in there, glue them down, which ought to be interesting. Put some actual rocks. Yeah, got a lot to do. I mean, he's got a number of things I need to work out. His mouth, probably get his teeth covered. He's got a lot of little grayish spots that the airbrush didn't quite hit, and I keep forgetting to do the wing. Fold it out because you can see in there's plenty of white of the primer color, which is actually gray, because I couldn't get the airbrush in there, so it looks pretty unfinished. So I wanted to heat this up and spread his wing out so I can get to it better, which will probably allow me to paint his arm better too, because it's really not a great place. So yeah, there's a couple of things I need to do just to reshape that, and I keep forgetting to do it. I always think about it when I'm ready to paint him. What I really should do is get a little bit of monk work done. And that's like painting this guy. This is one of my monks that I worked on. He's pretty simple, pretty basic. Made to look a little bit like me. I even gave him a goatee and a mustache. So he's got a lot of that going on. The big one I'm working on, my future state monk, is where's my monk box? I have a monk box because I have a changeling monk, and therefore he's got lots of potentially my monk box is not out here, and neither is the guy I want to show you. The guy I should probably be starting, because once I get level 5, which is going to take 6 months, because we level really slow on this team, because, well, it's really hard to get together. I mean, there's always something going on, and people just can't make it. Okay, so here's my monk box. Here's my monk box. So you can see all the different monks that I use. I don't know how much you can see because it's a long box, but I don't use them all. The ones I've been using, like my base form is not actually in here. My base form monk is a small little dude, kind of like Yoda there. That's not him, but he's about the same size. He's just got a cloak over his face. And then these are my other forms, my Rakshasa form. Ultimately, my ultimate form is not here. Where the heck is my ultimate form at? thought I had him out here somewhere, but all right. Where is my ultimate form monk? Try to keep him in a case because he's a bit fragile. Oh wait, no, I don't keep him in a case. He's right here. All right, so this is my ultimate form monk. Now, you ask, why does he have blue wings? Well, because they're not real. They are ethereal wings. They are part of his monk form. He plays a monk of the something visage, ancestral visage, something like that. So he actually gets wings that he uses as a second set of arms. He makes them come up. They come up as anything he wants. They act as arms. He can't fly with them, but he basically makes them come out and they smack together and knock people back and just act as an extra pair of arms. And when his dragonborn face is kind of his, I don't know, terror form or whatever. It's kind of like this guy, which also has like a visage kind of thing going for him. So when he's, see, this guy is a kind of a human form version of the terraform monk. So he gets that's his face visage. So it's kind of cool. It wraps around his leg like that. But I got to kind of paint him up too.
It's so loud out there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of hard to see him. See if
No, I know around our neighborhood there's not very many viewable. A lot of popping up, a lot of. I went outside, kind of looked in front and back, and all I saw were little things between the trees and stuff. Nothing too significant.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, I mean, I don't know. Usually come down and tell me to go to bed.
No. I just went outside because I thought I saw you go outside.
I did, but
You weren't there.
there was nothing to see.
Yeah.
Probably should have went with them. How you feeling?
Better.
Well, that's good.
Some digestion and stuff, and that seemed to calm it down. You could have went.
I didn't want to go without you. I'd rather sit with you.
It's okay.
I know it's okay. Duh. So I'm trying to think how I can make his wings more visagey. I'm thinking of going with a ghost gray or a ghost blue or maybe a ghostly shadow or something like that. I have this color, ghostly moss, which I kind of thought was pretty good. And then I actually have that Terra Sec stuff, this stuff. Oh, that's Nighthawk Gloom. Maybe that's not the one I'm thinking of. Is it the Neolicon Oxide? One of these is supposed to be for like creating ghostly effects. Maybe that's the Nihilica Oxide. And then I have this Nighthawk Gloom, which is also supposed to be kind of a ghostly color. So they're both technical, so I'm not sure. And then this one is a ghostly moss, which has that same similar color. And I'm thinking about putting it on his wings because they're supposed to have a ghostly / ethereal effect. And I don't know which ones. Now there's some people who do cool stuff. I mean, trying to do effects with single paints, it's like if you want to see what one looks like, it'd be kind of cool to do a single character and just say, okay, this is what this paint looks like, and this is what this paint. You know how long it would take to do that, though? Yeah. I mean, just start doing it, right? Let's see. Moss. I'd have to have so many characters. I'd have to pick some characters and just start putting stuff on them. It's like a lot of like basic characters. Simple stuff. Prime them and do some stuff to get like the ghostly moss to work. I don't think there'll be any examples. But let's see. Let's see if anybody. Banshee, Mid Dungeons and Dragons. See, here's ghostly moss paint, but nothing actually painted with ghostly moss. Do they actually show it? See, they just show you the color. They don't show you what anything looks like with it on. Yeah. So, you have to try it out yourself. It's the only way to do it. Let's see. Now, I know if you do the technical paints, though. Nihila Ka Oxide. How do you say technical Nihila Ka Oxide? Okay, so let's see what that one says.
A third-degree effect on bronze and copper, and looks especially good when a model is predominantly one of those two colours. Now what I'm going to do is paint it onto this here Space Marine statue to show you how easy it is to apply and give it a really antique look. So I've got some of the paint here, and as
that's
always, give it a good
your,
shake before you use it. And here it is. Now the
supposed
first
to
thing
make
you'll
your bronze
notice about
look
this is that it looks a lot like a Citadel shade. It's not though, it's actually got a much chalkier texture to it, and I'm going to make use of my palette for this one, so get some paint built up there. Now this is going to be one of two methods to apply it I'm going to show you. This is using a detail brush. What I'm going to do is paint it directly into the nooks and crannies like this. Now this is ideal for when you want to focus the colour a bit more on a smaller miniature or on a more detailed area. However, the other method is perhaps a little bit more appropriate for a model like this because of how big it is, and that is to use a large brush. So in this case, I'm going to get a lot more paint loaded, like that, and I'm going to apply it in a much more liberal fashion, like that. Really work it into all the nooks and crannies. Now, as you're painting it on, whilst it's still wet, quickly grab some tissue and wipe the excess away like this, downwards. And you'll see it leaves the paint in all the little recesses like that, and gives it a real effect like it's been outside for a long, long time and exposed to the elements. Right, so there we go. I've left him for about half an hour to dry. And well, it looks now like he's been left out to endure the elements for a long, long time.
Interesting.
So,
alright, so that's not the one I'm looking for.
When you're using lilac oxide, it looks a lot like a shade, but it actually isn't. It's a lot chalkier than...
Okay, so let's look at this other one. This is probably the one I'm thinking of, Night Haunt Gloom, which, obvious. It sounds like a ghost color, and that's probably the one I'm supposed to be using. I just want to get another feel if that's the one I want, though, because I'm not sure if I want to go full on, I don't know, haunty? Or if I just want to give it a feeling of translucency, ghostliness. Because see how this is? Night Haunt, Ghostly Robes, okay. Let's go see what this one does. Yeah, we don't need to get an example of what the bottle looks like. Is that what that's what he's doing? He's shaking it? It's not going to put it on anything. Who cares? Wow. Showing me how to mix a bottle of paint. Big whoop. Wait, what the heck? That's not where I went. Okay. Night Haunt, Ghostly Robes. Night Haunt painting, technical. So, yeah, let's see what this one looks like. See how it's supposed to do this kind of thing, make it look ghostly, but I don't know if that's, they're using the Night Haunt gloom on that.
Hi, it's Rob from the Russian Bulkum. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on another Night Haunt painting technique. And this is going to be for the ghostly parts of the Grimgas Reaper. So I'm going to be painting the ethereal parts on this Grimgas Reaper. There's going to be these dangly bits just below the chainmail. So the first colour we'll be using is the Night Haunt gloom. We'll also be using Nihilak oxide.
Oh, they do use Nihilak oxide.
White contrast paint.
Interesting.
And finally, we'll be using some Black Templar contrast paint as well.
Hmm.
Now, the Grimgas Reapers, they are darker at the top, getting to lighter, so we'll be using the Templar at the top, then the Night Haunt gloom, then a Nihilak oxide, then finally some Apothecary white at the very bottom.
Apothecary white.
So first up, we're going to put some Night Haunt gloom down.
Let's see what this Night Haunt gloom
you
looks
want to
like.
be careful that you are putting it only on the ethereal part. You don't want it to get onto the black or into the chainmail or anything like that. So if you start by applying it, you can apply it quite liberally. You do want some of the Night Haunt gloom to be there and to be quite wet as well for when you start applying the Black Templar as well at the top of the ethereal part.
Interesting.
So at the moment I'm not putting too much on. I'm just kind of painting up the bits so that you can see where we're going to be working on mainly. But it also leaves a little bit of the Night Haunt gloom, so that as you add in the Black Templar it will mix together, and that'll just give you that little bit there to help you blend it into the Night Haunt gloom. So I'm adding a little bit more Night Haunt gloom to these parts now. So you have all that colour. Now we're going to use a little bit of Black Templar.
It just looks like a paint. I just don't know if I like that color or not.
Ethereal parts,
it might work.
Beneath the black cloak and the chainmail. So you want to be putting this on, you want to put quite a bit so it's quite wet. And then you want to be sort of dragging that down into the Night Haunt gloom eventually. So what I'm going to do there is put a little bit more Black Templar than you probably usually use at the top. So you do have that wet paint. And then we're going to add a little bit of Night Haunt gloom. Start blending that in while it's still wet. Now if at any point you're doing this and you get the black going too far down into the Night Haunt gloom, you can just get a little bit more Night Haunt gloom and kind of brush that up and mix that with the black to lighten it up.
Alright, well, let's try it. What's the worst that could happen, right?
And then again, just use them.
I'll have to try some other plan. I'm going to try the Night Haunt gloom. We'll give it a go. I will try to do some kind of blending, some kind of thing. We'll see. Let's see what happens. But I'm not using black. I don't want black. I want it to be more ghostly, more ethereal all the way down. So we'll use the Night Haunt gloom. We'll give it a go. Don't know, man. That, and maybe I'll even throw in some ghostly moss just because I feel like it. So maybe for an extra highlight. Oh yeah, and I forgot to, I haven't moved these to a dropper bottle. I hate these bottles. I hate them with a passion. There are things that make me hate with them more, probably. And this could easily be moved to one of my dropper bottles, and I probably should, but this is a big bottle, and I would take like 2 dropper bottles of this. Which is, so it's like the trick is, can I do this without? Alright, let's see what happens. Now, I think what I'm going to do is take this, just put it on his, on the muscly parts. I'm guessing, really. I don't know the best places to put this, to be honest. Now, it's hard to give the look of a translucent figure to a figure that's not translucent, so that is kind of the trick, right? Trying to make it look like it's ghostly without actually being a clear figure. There's a lot of, figures out there that already got clear built into them, but this is not one of those. I was thinking about doing a Diablo boss run, but it's like in 11 minutes. Hey, hey Drago, we're back, man. How's it going? I see you returned. It's getting pretty late. Wasn't sure you'd be around. I don't know what your area is. I live on the west coast, and of course all the fireworks are still going on out there. But I didn't. Where are you? What area of the world do you call home? I know I'm not working on the demon at the moment. I did a little bit for a moment, then I thought I still haven't done that dang. I still haven't done the reshaping of the wings so that I could paint the wings better. So I gotta do that. So I put him down until I get around to doing that. And I said, well, I've only got so much time. I don't have a lot of time to paint tonight. I don't usually paint late. This is only because I'm off tomorrow. So. Well, let's see. The last message I got from you. You just said you had no space for an airbrush. And you also mentioned that adding medium to a speed paint makes it into glaze. That was the last message I got from you. Yeah, I still have the chat from earlier, so I was looking at it. But yeah, that was all I got. I don't know why it stopped, because my screen didn't freeze. A lot of times OBS will blow up on me, where it'll freeze and lock up, and then all of a sudden I don't even realize I've lost connection to the world. It'll just stop, and then I go back and look, and I realize I'm about to sign off, and I see that my screen froze, and I'm like, oh. OBS has been flaky lately. Oh, you're in Singapore. Oh, it's only 1:40 over there. Oh, well, it's the middle of the day for you. So you were on pretty early this morning than when I was on before. It was like bright and early for you. Are you like, and then of course there's no so when I said fireworks, you probably didn't know what I was talking about. It's the 4th, here in the US, it's the 4th of July, which is our Independence Day. I mean, you might know that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of Americans who go, overseas, so you could be American for all I know. But if you're not, you may very well not know why there would be fireworks today. I mean, I guess being in Singapore doesn't necessarily make you unaware of things like that, I suppose. I mean, I suppose there's even people who are native to Singapore know what the 4th of July is for Americans. those are people who pay attention to the world a little better. I gotta admit, I don't really pay a lot of attention to the holidays of other countries, very often anyway. So I wouldn't blame others for not doing the same, for doing the same with us. We Americans don't need to assume that everybody knows what we celebrate. Huh. Well, see, there you go. Now, have you been, do you know that? Why? Because you've been here, you've traveled here, other people have told you. I mean, how do you know? I mean, I don't know that whether you're from Singapore originally or what, but I hear Singapore's a really nice country. I mean, I've heard people have gone there. I mean, tourists. I mean, what do tourists, But I haven't been there myself. Just seen it in the movies. That's all. Yeah, so when we have the 4th here, the 4th of July, and they're lighting fireworks like crazy, it goes on all night long. So it's almost hard to sleep because they're lighting fireworks until all hours of the night. So like you wake up, you'll go to bed, and they'll still be going off at midnight, and 1 o'clock, and 1:30, and when your neighbors are launching them off. And I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's once a year, but can be a little disturbing when you're trying to sleep. And the holiday is weird because today's the holiday, right? But everybody goes and checks out fireworks at late at night, but nobody gets the day off the following day. So people who do fireworks on the 4th of July, their holiday is, nobody, unless they took it off from work on their own, their companies don't give them the day after the 4th of July off, which is really weird because everybody goes out and watches fireworks late, so everybody's up late. So people are tired. They go to work on the day after the 4th, on the 5th of July. It's kind of weird. I try to take the 5th of July off so that I can go. Pop culture, that's how you know what today is here. Have you ever played D&D? I mean, I know you said you play army games. I guess one of the questions I had asked you that you probably answered was, what games do you play? I mean, you said you make armies, so I'm guessing it's Warhammer or something like that. Or it was Age of Sigmar, which is another one, I guess. Or is Age of Sigmar just a different version of Warhammer? I think it might be just another different. I don't know enough about it. I just hear like these other painters and stuff who do paint stuff. They say what games they play, and I always thought they looked cool, but I just don't have the time or the energy to paint armies for those games. And I don't know about around you, but around here. Oh, BattleTech, huh? That's nice. 3.5 and 4th. So you haven't played 5th edition then. I played a little 3.5 back when it was out a long time ago, but I didn't get too far. I did like it, and so when 4th edition came out, played a lot of 4th edition. I mean, I don't know what's a lot, but I played it several times, enough that I had a pretty good idea what what it was all about. But I did not play. I didn't get very far because by the time the biggest problem I've had with D&D is it's really hard to get a consistent game going. It's like I've had a number of campaigns that I've gotten into, and they'd start off strong, go good for a few months or weeks, and then they die. Something just, people get busy, whatever. We just don't get around to finishing them, which I found, which has been pretty frustrating. Finding a group that just consistently plays. I've built characters who knows how many times to play in groups that died. Now, I'm not talking about like TPK died. I'm talking about the group died, not the character. Now, I had my son run a campaign that he indeed did manage to TPK us all. Although, I say to this day my character never died. Everybody else died, but mine didn't. Well, not everybody else, not true. There was one other person who didn't die, and I keep telling him that those 2 characters escaped. Several of the party died, and they got away because we ended without finishing the battle. I mean, we just kind of said, oh, okay, this is done, we lost. But my thought was, okay, we lost, but we got away. We ran away looking for assistance, but never got a chance to return to the game. So, because the character I was playing in that game, his name was Kyle, like an amalgamation of Kal-El, Superman. And I had started giving him skills and abilities that he was basically supposed to be Superman, at a underpowered state, and he had found himself in this weird fantasy world, and he was, and it was cool because I was building him up, and I thought, wow, I have all these abilities that are going to kind of look Superman-ish, like a lower powered Superman. He didn't have flight or anything. I guess I could have made him an Asimar and gave him flight, but I didn't want to. At the time I was like, I'd rather. I went with Monk, so a lot of things that are supposed to be like super speed and start looking like super speed over time were available to him, and quick punches in and out, things that just allowed him. And then I had given him one ability from another class. You level up, and I basically got him he was able to use tieflings, or what do you call it, not ray of frost, like a fire thing, and he was using that, and he was the bolts of energy would come out, not out of his hands but out of his eyes. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I could do that in the one I'm running. That's probably true. Start having all these characters that are supposedly around. Just show them up in my campaign, the one I'm running. They can't stop me from putting them in there. That would be kind of funny because my son actually is one of the people in our campaign. And then he was running another campaign for us. And that one died because people just stopped being available. One of the guys left, and he decided to start a new one instead because one guy had quit, and he had left, whatever. And he wanted to start a new one because he had new people that were going to play. And so we got him in and started. But what I did with that one is the character I built was like the brother of the character in the other one. So I had a guy named Zhenli. He was Xenli or Lee, whatever. Zhenli. he was a general in the army, and one of his things was he would not use ranged weapons ever. He didn't believe they were an honorable way to fight, and people who did it, he thought were they had a streak of cowardice. They wouldn't fight toe to toe with their enemies. They always, they had to be hiding. So he has a real hard time getting along with ranged fighters. And because he was a two-handed, and I was working on finding skills and building him up that would allow him to move effectively into battle, and just be able to be a full-on melee guy. Now he would use things that might create ranged effects, but he would be in the battle. I mean, he would not actually like launch something from far away, and he refused to do it. He wanted to look his enemy in the eye when he killed him. He felt that was the only honorable way to battle. So he looked. We had a ranger in our group, so he didn't like her, which was my daughter-in-law. So there was a little tension at times. I'm pretty sure it was all still supposed to be within the character, but I'm not sure that there wasn't a little I mean, it's just the way the character had to be played, and I'm not sure she was terribly thrilled with my characters being so. I don't know. I mean, I was like overly mean. I wasn't going to be mean to my daughter-in-law, but I'm just saying he was not impressed with her antics. Plus, she was a high-energy character, and he's very stoic. He's a general. He's a seasoned war veteran, and her antics and the way she fought were all things that he had trouble with. That was his flaw, which kind of made him difficult to get along with at times, depending on who it was we were playing at the time. So the thing is that this guy is he's supposed to be. He's a changeling, right? So he's not really. He's not supposed to be. He's not a dragonborn. He just kind of looks like a dragon or a monster. That's actually a demon skull, not a dragon. A demon skull, which is his visage. He's like I said, he's a monk of the astral visage. Yeah, astral visage. And so his first thing he gets are arms, which he's using his wings. So he gets this extra set of arms, and then he gets. Eventually, he'll get this other visage, which is his head. And then he gets this other one that lets him call up the full body, the full what do you call it? Look, and it provides like all the effects. But that's not until later when he gets a little stronger. But at third level, he gets his wings. They don't fly, but they look cool, and they can smack people around. But the thing is, his skin tone. As you can see, I haven't painted his skin yet. It's just primer right now. Is going to be. I haven't decided if I want his skin tone to be of the. I almost thought flesh colored. That should be kind of weird looking for a dragonborn. Like human flesh colored. Which would definitely be odd. Or maybe just flesh colored body with like a flesh colored body with scaly arms and a demon head. So the arms, the scales would be similar in color to his demon head, but his chest and stuff. Because there's not a lot of scales on this chest and the body, so I was thinking maybe make that kind of humanoid looking, and then have the head and the arms look kind of scaly and demony looking. That's what I was thinking. I mean, what's the worst that can happen, right? If I don't like it, I'll I would have to repaint him. Or repaint those areas. It's not that hard though, right? Now it looks like they're all back from fireworks watching. They all being my kids. They all went to watch fireworks. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 11. Unfortunately, man, I didn't actually plan to stay up too late. I have to go exercise tomorrow. I don't have to, but I do. That's my thing. I work out probably 6 days a week. And today I went and ran half marathon, so tomorrow I'll probably have to do some weights. I think Monday, Monday I did upper body, did some chest work. And then tomorrow I have PT for my shoulder, which is messed up. They're trying to help fix it. They said there's nothing wrong with the joint. I had x-rays done. They're going to try to, I might end up getting an MRI later to check to see if I did any ligament damage, but so far, if I do it right, I don't aggravate it, make it worse. So, but I'm pretty much done, Trago. I know you came and joined me, at least for a few minutes. Got a few chats off. It's only 1:30 for you, 1:40, so you still got a lot of day left. But over here, it's 11. It's after 11 o'clock, or almost 11 o'clock. And even though I don't work tomorrow, I like to start my day early. I'm going to paint again tomorrow, probably, so maybe I'll see you. But for me, like I said, my day typically will end. So I guess for you, it's 2 o'clock. So my day would probably typically end about noon your time, because I usually wind things up between 9 and 9:30 my time, which would probably be noon and noon:30 over there. So if I'm online in the mornings my time, I might see you, but it's probably unlikely a lot, except on the weekends, because I work. I don't get online too much in the mornings. But hey, I do appreciate you stopping by, man. You have a good one, Drago. And hey, post some stuff you paint on my Discord. I like to take a look at it. See some of your armies. See what kind of stuff you work on. I'd be definitely interested to see that stuff. I need to post more of my stuff on there too. I have a number of minis I've finished, and I should start posting stuff. I just haven't made a good habit of it. I have my little image cycle that I normally have up, but it's not up right now. I want to normalize my images. Right now I have them all take pictures, and they're all like different shapes and sizes, because I'll zoom in to make them, get the best part. But I need to start making them all like square or rectangle or whatever, and then when my cycle goes through, they all look uniform. They all fit the screen. Right now they just go small, big, wide, thin, wide, and it doesn't look good. That's why I turned off the image cycle. I'm going to do that at some point. I'll get the same ratios set up so that they'll display correctly. But until then, you take it easy, man. Have a good one, Drago. Bye.